Hi guys, it's Sam here with Bargain Hunting Blonde, and today I'm bringing to you a chatty Hermes video about a very big update in the Hermes world. So I'm not sure how many of you pay attention to like Purse Forum or Instagram, but Hermes has announced and has started to trend to, and sales associates have confirmed that they are going to a global purchase history system. So let me kind of explain to you what that means by describing to you the old system. So in the old system, for someone like me who travels a lot, I actually had 3 different profiles. So my first profile was from my purchases in Paris. My second profile was from my purchases in London. I know now potentially that since those are both in Europe, they might have been connected. But at the time when I was traveling a lot for work in 2019 and 2020, they were not connected. And then lastly, my purchase history in the United States. Those were 3 separate profiles and did not add up to, my total spend, did not reflect everything I bought at Hermes, and did not necessarily reflect my love of the brand. But this sort of purchase system and purchase history did allow certain people to get 2 quota bags in the different respective countries, because the other countries could not tell that they had been given 2 quota bags. Or in Paris, it's always kind of been that they don't know your US purchase history, so you can get another quota bag there. So hypothetically, someone who travels a lot could get 2 quota bags in the US and at least 2 quota bags in Paris. Depending also, of course, if they get an FSH appointment, which is a totally different story and a totally different thing. But I personally have been to Paris and spent a lot of time in Paris, and even with my husband's passport and my passport, has never gotten an appointment at Hermes. I've just been in and looked at other things besides bags, but I've never gotten a leather goods appointment. So that was the old system. The new system is going to be a global purchase history, so me, as Sam, will just have 1 account. Just 1, not 3. So the negatives, we're going to start with that first. The negatives of this system is that if you are one of those people who was very lucky to be able to go and travel a lot, you could get more than 2 quota bags a year. You could get a lot of quota bags potentially a year, depending on how much you were traveling. So that now will not be happening. You will be limited to 2 quota bags for the average customer. I should note that for the average customer, even though I've even heard that with the supply chain issues and everything, is looking like potentially this year in the US, 1 quota bag per customer. But honestly, who knows with that? That has not been confirmed. The global system has been confirmed by a couple sales associates, and then on all the chatter and Purse Bop and all of that have been talking about it. 2, which is another negative for me, is like I said, this will be for the average consumer. That does not mean for the VVIPs, for the celebrities, for, people who are really, really wealthy. Who knows if this will stop them? And honestly, it probably won't. Every brand, says they're going to have these purchase limits, and then they don't enforce them for certain people. So that potentially could happen here, and that's negative number 2 for me. Number 3 is there are still ways to game the system, and this does not solve all the problems, though it can be a step in the right direction to maybe more evenly dispersing quota bags, and that's that you can still have someone else create a purchase profile and buy things for you. That's always going to be kind of an issue, right? Like I said, I tried to get an appointment myself or my husband. Obviously anything, well, not obviously, but for my husband, anything he would be buying would be for me. He has no interest in Hermes. He's looked at some of the guys' stuff and be like, oh, do you like that? He'd be like, no. So like anything he would be getting would be for me, and that's another way to game the system. Family members, friends, like I have friends who I travel with, I love traveling with, are not into like that high of luxury goods, but they will come in the store with me. If I really wanted something and I had already gotten my 2 quota bags, I'm sure they would purchase it for me and I would just pay them back. So again, a way around the system. There's always going to be a way to game the system. I think I've mentioned this in other videos before. I know people who live in the surrounding countries around FSH and will apply every single day until they get an appointment at the store, and then they just hop on the train and go. So there'll always be a way to game the system, and that for me is negative number 3. And then lastly is negative number 4. And I'm not sure how this will evolve and what will happen, but I can see some angry sales associates, and when you're purchasing not with them. So they're going to be able to see that you're making purchases in other countries. And I think in general, sales associates understand when people go to Paris and want to get something at the flagship store, but there'll be potentially issues if, for me, I live really close to Hermes, and they could already see if I had been purchasing at Palo Alto versus San Francisco. But now for someone like me who's traveling all the time, they'd be able to see what I was purchasing in London as well as what I was purchasing in San Francisco. So something interesting to think about, and I'm not sure how that'll play out or what will happen there, but I could see having some issues potentially with sales associate relationships, because one of the things that they always tell you, when you're reading like purse form and stuff like that, is to stick with one sales associate unless you really don't get along, just because that helps you build a relationship and they know what you're looking for. Positives of this system is, one, as I say, the quota bag for everyone, which obviously is not true. This is not Oprah, but it is going to spread out the ability for more people to get quota bags because there'll be less hoarding by certain people. Like I said, that's for the average customer. Who knows what will happen with the VVIPs. I also do think that even though this is not a perfect system, it is trending towards a fairer system, and I do think there's something nice about that. Hopefully it'll allow more people to get the bags they're really looking for. And, maybe it'll allow less resellers to end up purchasing, maybe not the quota bags, but all of a sudden a reseller has 10 picotins. Like, you don't need 10 picotins, but they did that because they were buying them in all these different countries and they aren't quota bags. So now Hermes would be able to see that, and it would hopefully stop some of those practices. Not that I have anything against people reselling their bags, but I do get annoyed when I know many people who just want to get one non-quota bag, and they can't, they're not even getting one, while then you see resellers who clearly are not keeping them for themselves are selling like 15 of that bag. So I hope it will trend towards a fairer system. And while those positives, there were a lot of negatives, for me, I am actually really for this system. I got one quota bag last year. I know some people would be upset with that they didn't get two. I was very happy with my one. I love Verdi. I use him all the time. It was a great purchase for me. Definitely one of my best purchases of 2021. And I'm okay with just getting one a year. And I know some people are upset that it's trending towards one a year. I think one a year is fine. These bags are really expensive. It also encourages you to look at other fashion houses. We have a tendency to forget that fashion houses exist outside of like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, and Hermes. And there are a ton of great fashion houses. Like, might actually, like, Tide, maybe like Hermes a little more, but I love Celine. I have loved Celine for many years. Celine is definitely the favorite designs of my husband when I'm showing him bags. He likes their simple classic style. Their quality is really great, and we just happen to forget about Celine. And, we forget about a lot of these other fashion houses like Gucci and Saint Laurent and Dior that all make great quality products because they're not like the big three. And maybe if we're only getting one quota bag a year, we'll start looking at other fashion houses. For me, it's about handbags and like luxury goods and not just like one brand. As you can see with all the different boxes behind me and bags behind me, I buy from many fashion houses, and I love that. I love the different styles they all have. One thing that does annoy me is the bad quality from Chanel, so I haven't been purchasing there recently. And the price increases, but that's another story. So I think there's nothing wrong with spreading the love on the quota bags. I, have also heard some rumors that like any bag counts as a quota bag this year, but my sales associate told me that's not true. We'll see. I just think, there's a lot of rumors flying around because there are a lot of supply chain issues for every brand. Like, whenever I go over the Bay Bridge or the San Mateo Bridge, I can just see tons and tons of cargo ships sitting in the bay with tons of stuff on them, not getting unloaded because the ports are just crazy right now. All the shipping stuff is all still kind of messed up, and we're getting there, but right now there's still supply chain issues, and I think we all need to be understanding of that. And then we also know that Hermes likes to play their game. So I'm sure they're having supply chain issues, and I'm sure they probably had that bag you wanted in the back. It is how it is. And as I have always said, if you do not want to play the game, you do not have to. Preloved market is great. I have purchased many a bag on the Preloved market, Hermes and other brands. That is always an option. And they are not always above retail, as highlighted by my Hermes Birkin 35, which is normally sitting by me, but actually I was using it recently because I'm a Niners fan, and I somehow couldn't find most of my Niners gear, but I had a red Birkin and gold Twilly. We did lose to the Rams. My husband is ecstatic. I will not be rooting for the Rams in the Super Bowl, so go Bengals. But, that's just, there's a lot of other ways to get a bag and you don't have to play the game. But if you are playing a game, this is a very interesting update for you. So if you want to chat about this more, please leave me a comment down below. Feel free to DM me on Instagram. I love talking to you guys. If you want to see more chatty videos, more handbag unboxings, handbag reveals, handbag comparisons, Please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video, which currently is 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you want to see how I style my bags, please make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, my blog, all of which are linked down below. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys!